Everyone knows the Burger King crown guy who went viral back in 2021. He blew up all over the internet and became a martyr for thousands of edgy kids online. But his life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. He has a much darker past than he might like to admit. From vandalism to a recent arrest in June for contacting a minor, the Burger King crown guy's story is way crazier than what's being told. But to get a better understanding of where he's at now, let's start his story right from the beginning. This is the Burger King crown guy, also known as Ryan Brewer. He has a YouTube channel that goes by the same name. It provides a glimpse of what his past was like prior to his internet fame. His posts are low quality and very hard to follow. He's been diagnosed with schizophrenia, which becomes very apparent after watching any of his videos. Generally, he records himself monologuing about various topics. Sometimes he rants about his daughter, who apparently hates him. Sometimes he rants about the government, and sometimes he gets butt naked just because he feels like it. He often talks about religion and God, but it's just as incoherent as the rest of his ramblings.
God wants me to suck my own cock.
These videos display Ryan's erratic behavior and shed light on the underlying causes of his actions. Clearly, he is not in a stable mental state. After posting his final video in July of 2018, he vanished from the internet and nobody heard from Ryan for the next 2 years.
Nobody! Take her get the fuck out of my seat! Kick the off the plane!
Sir, please you need to stop. There are children. Please stop.
On October 21st, 2020, a Twitter user by the name of King Mecca posted the first known clip of the Burger King crown guy. Originally, the video didn't gain a lot of traction. It was really only shared around 4chan or obscure meme pages. But in early 2021, it began to circulate on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. It wasn't long before it became a viral meme. The internet loved him. They praised him for using racial slurs and framed him as a hero. Several news organizations covered the story, which only increased his level of virality. Eventually, new footage surfaced of a second incident involving him on a plane. Once again, he had called a woman the N-word while wearing a Burger King crown. But this time he wasn't nearly as hostile and complied when he was told to exit the plane. But there's a lot of unanswered questions here. What's up with the Burger King crown? Why was he so angry and prone to using slurs? And where was he even trying to fly to? Well, the true story of the Burger King crown guy reveals the irony behind his martyrdom. According to an article from The Den, he traveled to Jamaica in September of 2020. He planned to marry a, quote, Jamaican princess that he met on Facebook. She told him that she needed money for wedding preparations, so he gave her $1,000, which was all the money he had. After she received the payment, she vanished, ignoring his attempts at contacting her on Facebook. He was left stranded in Jamaica and was forced to sleep on a beach for several nights. He contacted the United States Embassy, who eventually paid for his return flight home. And when he boarded the plane and arrived at his seat, he saw a woman that resembled the Jamaican princess whom he had intended to marry. It was at this point that he snapped, and the rest is history. This brings us to the present day, where a lot of information has been uncovered. He's not exactly the stand-up guy that everyone thinks he is. He has a vast criminal history dating as far back as 1994 when he vandalized a sign. Since then, he's accumulated several other charges. In May of 2020, he was charged with assault and contempt of court. In May of 2021, he violated a court order to prevent domestic violence. In May of 2022, he was charged with arson. During the same arrest, he was charged with stalking and threatening with intent to terrorize, although these charges were dismissed. In June of 2022, he was charged with contacting a minor with intent to commit a sexual offense, but this charge was dismissed. However, he was also charged with annoying a child under 18. This charge has sexual implications. For this, he pleaded no contest and was sentenced to 1 year in prison. In October of 2024, he was charged with a parole violation, and in January of 2025, he was charged with tampering with a vehicle. Now, what if by some crazy coincidence, this isn't the same Ryan Brewer who became a viral meme? Well, I have proof that absolutely dismisses any speculation you may have. On all of these charge reports, there's a section titled Aliases. Ryan Brewer happens to have an alias. He sometimes goes by Landon Ray Stage, And Landon Ray Stage is an alias listed on Ryan Brewer's sex offender profile. That's right, the Burger King Crown Guy is a registered sex offender. But wait, there's more. We've only gone over the charges against Ryan Brewer. There's a whole other list of charges against Landon Ray Stage. These include attempting to evade an officer while driving recklessly, resisting arrest or threatening an officer, theft of a vehicle, possession of methamphetamine, and many more. Currently, Ryan is in jail on a $100,000 bond for an arrest made on June 3rd. Once again, he was charged with contacting a minor with the intent to commit a sexual offense. This has actually been a problem with Ryan for the past few years, but it's only now that he's getting in trouble for it. In 2019, a post was made in a community Facebook group. A woman explained that a man approached her daughter while they were in a drugstore. The man handed her daughter a business card that said free childcare and told the woman only girls, no boys. This man was, of course, Ryan Brewer. She even provided an image of the card which said Chipmunk Trunk Childcare and contained Ryan's full name. She reported this to the police, but they said since no crime was committed, there was nothing they could do. Other members in the Facebook group recognized Ryan and posted pictures from their own altercations with him. They identified him as having a triangle-like tattoo under one of his eyes, which confirmed that it was the same Ryan Brewer that became a meme. Some of the community knew where he lived. He painted his house a distinct bright pink, so it really stood out amongst his neighbors. One lady decided to knock on his door, hoping to confront him, but fortunately for her, there was no answer. He was a known creep in the area, and people were afraid to go out at night because of him. This all makes a lot of sense. At the height of Ryan's popularity as a meme, people speculated that he might be some sort of sexual degenerate. His subscriptions and playlists on YouTube were public, and they contained several videos of young girls. People defended him, saying that his daughter uses the YouTube account and the playlists were made by her. But at this point, it's pretty obvious that it was Ryan. There's no more defending him now. The most surprising part about this is how Ryan's criminal record managed to stay hidden for so long. Nobody has talked about his past, even though it's not exactly difficult to find. Usually, if people go viral online, all of their information is found instantly. But for some reason, Ryan managed to fly under the radar for years without anyone discovering his dark history. That is, until now. Ryan's fate is currently unknown. At this point, chances are he'll stay in prison for a long time. He's been in and out of jail over and over again throughout the last 20 years, and unfortunately, he hasn't learned his lesson. This is a man who was once known by the world as the King, but behind the scenes, he truly was the lowest of the low.